Hi, Gaurav Sapra and
Ritika Sapra.
Ritika Sapra, who recently got their invite and passport request, and I've got the passport stamped, and then now they are ready to fly late in September. Over to you. Thank you.
So Rajiv, firstly, thank you for the entire experience that we have had with Abhinav. I think it was fantastic. Just take you through the journey. I remember those days when I was personally looking at options in terms of kahan jana chahiye, whether it's Australia, whether it's Canada. The whole idea was to look for a better life. Our incentive to move out was to look for a better quality of life. And as a parent, I thought that it was my responsibility to give a better life to my son. And I remember searching through ads, screening through ads and articles on Google stuff. And and trust me, I was completely confused that time. I would have talked to a couple of people before I had contacted you. And but I remember the first time I came here. So out of all the confusion, then I had a word with my friend who was in Canada, and incidentally, she had gone through Abhinav, and she highly recommended Abhinav that I should definitely come and meet somebody at Abhinav, and that's how I came to Abhinav. I met you, um, and yes, you gave a lot of time. We did discuss my entire work history and education history and stuff, and got a lot of insightful stuff about how we should be going through the entire immigration process. That was very encouraging uh, because till that time we were somewhere confused, uh, and that's when I engaged Ritika that okay, this is I've done some bit of groundwork. Maybe this is the time for you to pitch in because she is much more organized compared to me. And second meeting, of course, we met Vagisha also. You made us meet Vagisha. That was the time we had signed off the agreements and stuff. Vagisha was assigned as our account manager, case manager, and how Vagisha made us go through the entire document list. Um, she would have spent somewhere around an hour and a half, understanding our profile and stuff. So yeah.
I think, yeah, just to add to what Gaurav has shared, I think the experience that we had specifically with Vagisha through the process, because if you look back and really think about the process, it was extremely detailed, a huge number of documents required, given you had to go back to your past employers, look at education certificates right from schooling to college and post graduation and so on. I think it was a very tedious process, and the fact that one, I think her perseverance with us through the process and highlighting each and every detail, the number of checks, etc., that she would do, just made us make sure she made sure that we were true to the process, and we would with the timelines. It's I think it was exactly what we probably required at that point in time, just given what the process demand was. So it was extremely helpful, her guidance throughout. And I think right till the point of submission, there was a very high level of trust and reliability that we were able to establish with her. So even before clicking any buttons on the CIC application and so on, I think the first thing or the last thing that we would do would be reach out to Vagisha and check that is everything fine, because the level of trust that we had developed with her was so high. So she was the first and the last person that we would consult before even taking the next step, or on anything in the process. So I think that's the kind of journey we have had with her, and it was almost over a year. And I think there were obviously highs and lows where there was a point in time where we thought that given the score and given things were not really moving, whether we would get through or not, and so on. But I think that's the constant touch with Rajiv and with you and with Vagisha kind of didn't let our hopes go completely down and literally give up. And I think that's probably what we see today as the result is in front. So yeah, that's really how the journey has been.
Wonderful. So, what do you rate your overall services tendered to you, kind of the comfort level as well as the knowledge it cascaded to throughout the process, and the otherwise overall rating? If you would, if you would, if you'll ask you, how do you wish to rate Abhinav services, as well as if you would recommend our services or Abhinav outsourcing in future to the other people, possibly your colleagues, your family, friends, or no. So please share your opinion on the same too.
So I'm sure you're aware we've already recommended two of our friends already, right? Even before we got our visa stamped and stuff, just because of the entire comfort level that we have had through this journey. As far as reviews concerned, I think I would personally like to rate 4 out of 5, and I would always leave one mark for there's always a better way to do things. But I think it was a fantastic experience. You guys kind of compensated wherever we were lacking in terms of knowledge, experience, exposure. There was a lot of guidance that was there.
I think the only other thing I'd like to add, and that's probably part of the process as well, but I think there was a fair degree of independence as well. So it's not that we felt that everything was, happening through you completely. I think where there were points, in the process where we were directly interacting with the CIC or with the Canadian government, which in a way as a client comes back and kind of gives you the trust that it's not something that, you all as a consultant are manipulating or anything of that sort. I think that independence came out pretty strongly, even in terms of payments, etc. Given that was completely separate than the process and independent of that. I think that gives a lot of confidence back into us as that it's you're just facilitating the journey versus having any other influence and so on. So I think that independence, for us was very, very important in that journey. We didn't feel that it was a biased process at any point in time. Whether it was IELTS or whether it was the next steps and us getting the direct invite from the government and all of those things. I think just kind of, reassured that confidence we had.
Fair enough. So at last, if you can name or recommend any person who has directly, indirectly was associated and assisted you throughout the entire process.
So my personal recommendation for anyone who's looking for visa immigration assistance, come to Abhinav, and the first person you should meet at Abhinav is Rajiv. He gives you overall perspective in a very nice way. He has a fantastic experience. I believe he's been in this trade for years now, and so Vagisha on the other side is a process expert. She was just hands-on, right? Himanshu was also involved, and yes, kudos to Himanshu and Vagisha as a team, and Rajiv for just giving the right direction at intervals, right? There were times that we would reach out to you, whether this is working out, this is not working out. We were losing out of patience, so.
Thank you so much, Gaurav Chopra and Mrs. Pritika Chopra. We wish you all the best. Thank you and all the best. Take care.